Hello, I'm Jonathan Womack, and welcome to this edition of Community Insider. We're going to be bringing you, as you see, from the Van Buren County Historical and Heritage Museum right here in Spencer, Tennessee. It's going to be an interesting show. Stay tuned. A lot of history and some stuff you probably didn't know. You'll find out right here on Community Insider. Stay tuned.
Good morning. I'm David Cook, and I want to welcome each and every one to the Van Buren County Historical Museum. And we'll start off this morning with a little bit of a history on the courthouse. This building right here was the first structure, and it was built in the late 1840s. And in 1906, there was a contract let, 1904, there was a contract let to build a new courthouse with a vault. However, it's undetermined at this time whether or not that contract matured. However, in 1906, a cyclone, which is now a tornado, struck the courthouse and did extensive damage. It took the roof off the courthouse and it split the walls.
One of the other things that's unique to our area is the number of tornadoes occurring at night. Highly prone to night tornadoes. In fact, we get more here than just about anywhere else on the planet. Why that is, it takes somebody that knows a lot more than me to explain. But typically, your really severe weather is going to take place sometime between, say, 2 in the afternoon and 9 o'clock at night. But there are always exceptions.
Community Insider is brought to you by
Dr. Pepper. Good for life, good for the community.
High-quality leads with prolific internet marketing and invigorating web design services that will energize your business. We are SiriusSEM. Call today or visit us at SiriusSEM.com.
Welcome to another edition of Community Insider. Join us as we travel Middle Tennessee, uncovering history and experiencing the adventure of unique stories and events coming to you inside your community.
However, in 1906, a cyclone, which is now a tornado, struck the courthouse and did extensive damage. It took the roof off the courthouse and it split the walls. So we've yet to determine what action was taken on the damage that the cyclone did to the courthouse.
Now, this is some of the original brick back here, right?
Yes, right here.
And then, of course, this is telling the different ages of the years, right? 1842, 1905.
Right.
Very, very neat. Very neat. And what was this backboard? Is that the plaster that they used on that?
Yes, that's plastered over the brick. And that's specified in the 1904 contract, as a matter of fact. It's specified that the brick would be plastered on the interior of the courthouse.
Let's talk about y'all's mission statement. I know that there's a purpose that y'all have in trying to preserve history. David, what is, and I know we got some ladies in here that's hard at work with history, and what's the real purpose of what y'all are trying to do?
We're just trying to preserve history that's unique to our county.
And the mission of the Van Buren County Historical and Heritage Museum is to educate through the collection, preservation, interpretation, and presentation of artifacts, documents, and events most representative of the county's history and heritage.
That's
So,
correct.
very, very in-depth, but it's very important. I know we talked off camera just how important people, not only in this area, but you know, what we've learned just since we've been getting together some of the show prep for this. You know, I am also included in some of my family's history. My ancestors has roots in Van Buren County. So a lot of people that may not even realize it. 4 months ago, I didn't know that myself. So people's got to research their history.
That's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly right.
So what's some of the other displays that you have? Of course, folks that's watching, we're not going to be showing every single thing, but just tell us some about what you
Well,
have here.
if you'd like to step into this room right here, we have a history on our, sort of like our black history. These people are from the Sparkman community of Van Buren County. And as a matter of fact, I knew some of these people, and I've read about each and every one of them.
Where did the photos come about from? I know not everybody had the money to do photos, so how did
Well,
that come about?
coincidentally, there was a lady in the Sparkman community who passed away a few years ago, and she asked that I be the executor of her estate, and she had lots of photos. So they fell into my hands, and I have preserved these. I don't claim them. They're here for the enjoyment of friends and family or anyone that's interested in the history. And I'd like to expand on this gentleman right
Yes,
here.
This is Ben Spartan, right?
This is Ben Sparkman. He was born in 1840 and died in 1925. He was married twice. His first wife passed away. He had three children, by his first wife. He had Amanda, Myra Lou, and Ulysses Grant. And his wife passed away. Her name was Priscilla. And he married a Betty Martin from Warren County. And he had two children by Miss Betty, a Roger W. Sparkman, and a Etta. And we have pictures of both of those, but Mr. Sparkman, sad to say, he was born in slavery, but he got his freedom, and at the time of his death, he owned over 300 acres, and he left each one of his children a small farm. Yeah, this is Micajah Dotson Walker, and they called him Dottie, and his wife Susan Adair. He was native of Van Buren County and later moved to Warren County. And this is a gentleman, Simon Peter Dotson. He was on the court for many, many years and a kind of a pillar of his community down in the Sparkman community as well. And this is a picture of the house that he lived in.
And the violin here, or the fiddle.
Well, rumor has it that some of the Dotsons played the violin.
I got you.
This gentleman here, Mr. Ernest Hastings, Secretary of State of Tennessee. Not very many people know that we had several people from Van Buren County who served in the state legislature and the state government.
And some of those, later on, we'll find out more about also the women that served in some capacity, like sheriff and stuff like that.
Right.
It's very historic. Some of these here.
This lady was Sarah Moore, and she married Stephen Hollingsworth. And Stephen passed away, and she married two more times. So on her tombstone, which is in the Hollingsworth Cemetery in Van Buren County and Sparkman community, her name was Sarah Moore Hollingsworth Sites Rollins. And bless her heart, she was credited of being a witch, but I do not believe that, but it does allow for some great storytelling. This picture here is this is Miss Daisy Cook Reinhardt. She was my father's sister, and I personally knew her. She was a school teacher and taught in many schools throughout the county, and she was also an artist.
This extensive list of names, what are these?
These are the white males over 21 years old for Van Buren County. These are the people, from what I understand, these people signed a petition for the creation of the county.
Okay.
And
petitioners or something.
And the reason why that happened, the county was made up of White County and Warren County and I think Bledsoe County, but people were traveling to White County or to Warren County for court purposes and they were having to go across the river, and if the rivers were flooded, they couldn't get across, so we decided to create Van Buren County. And the petitioners allowed that to happen.
Old trunk here, what's the story behind the trunk?
This is a trunk that belonged to a gentleman named William Carroll Martin. He was a Confederate veteran and was later murdered.
Wow. What was the story behind his murder?
Well, from what I gather, Mr. Martin had a lot of Confederate money. And he let it be known that he had a lot of money. And some people didn't know that it was Confederate money and it was worthless, but anyway, some people attempted to rob him one night and killed him. Okay, in this room we have just artifacts of various kinds. Here we have some old medicine bottles. There's a picture right here of the Nelson Drug Company, which later became the drugstore of Doc Holman. And most people in this part of the country that knew of him called him Doc Yeck. And here's some Rocky River Lumber Company pictures. And we have a display here of some blacksmith tools. And
now these are from donations, I'm sure, from
yes,
the county.
Right.
Unbelievable.
And over in this corner, we have a little bit of a history of the Century Farms in Van Buren County. There are many farms in Van Buren County that qualify to be on the Century Farms list. However, only a select few have actually filled out the paperwork, but we would like to encourage all of those people who have farms that qualified to be on the Century Farms list to please do so, because it helps preserve our history.
Each one of these pictures and examples of these things is a story, and just unbelievable. What was this at?
That was the trestle on Rocky River for the train to go from Campaign to Rocky River, and that's the trestle across what's called Crane Hollow. Now this is the uniform of a Mr. Safley. He was as you can see, he was a general, and he had ties to Rocky River. And we solicited, we don't have as large of a military display honoring those people from our county who were in the military, but we're soliciting any contributions that people would like their people to get a recognition.
You've got a list here of several that
Yes.
served in Van Buren County. Unbelievable the number of people that served through the years. Of course, like Mr. David said, we're looking for more of those individuals to present some unique things to add to this collection, no doubt.
And what we have here is, this is the first Van Buren County flag. And this flag, this particular flag right here was made by the senior citizens. Wow. And when we passed that a flag would be built, be developed for Van Buren County was in the 1990s, and on the floor of the court passed that the first flag would be built by the senior citizens. And we're proud to have this flag. All right, this is just a collection of artifacts that people have donated, and nothing specific that I'm aware of any stories. Now this particular picture right here is the picture of the brick making of Burritt College building and the courthouse. And these were built here these bricks were made here in Spencer. And of course we have the wood stove. Some people, I'm sure, in our society today have never seen a wood stove, and it definitely never had a meal that was prepared on the wood stove.
And this was donated? The family donated it?
Yes. And this is kind of a unique item. This is what was called a tea kettle. It's cast iron, which was really great for holding the heat to heat the water. But it's quite heavy. It's probably 5 to 8 pounds. But that was used unique for a wood stove.
And I'm seeing the molasses and the honey and stuff like that. Now, this may be a good time. Y'all got a beautiful farmer's market pavilion.
Yes.
And are they looking at maybe opening that back up this summer?
Yeah, yes they will.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And this is just an old Singer sewing machine that operated by foot, did not have an electric motor, and it was just operated by foot with a back and forth motion. But that's the way it worked back then.
And this must be the back side of the vault.
Right. Yeah, this vault door, we recently found out that this vault door was built in 1904, which kind of fits in with some of the speculation that this courthouse was rebuilt in 1904, but we haven't reached that total conclusion as of yet.
That would have been after the tornado?
No, that would have been before the tornado.
Before the tornado.
So we really don't know what happened yet after the tornado.
And this display here?
This display is the old Hopewell church in Sparkman Community. This was about 1852, I think. And this is the Hopewell Baptist Church in Sparkman Community now. This is a church. I attended school in this building in the 1st and 2nd grade, and it was moved from its original location to up by the Sparkman Cemetery now. This building was built about 1905. At the high points, this is just a display of quilts, and quilts are very unique. They're handmade, and not everybody understands the work and the efforts that goes into this, but it's a great piece. And this is a quilt that was made by Miss Daisy Cook Reinhardt. She made this, and it's kind of a historical significant quilt. It has pictures of the courthouse and Barrett College and the Church of Christ here in Spencer, and the picture of the ground sloth that was in Bone, that was found in Bone Cave.
And I believe some of it's in the Smithsonian now or something like
It's
that.
in a museum, but I'm not for sure which.
Now, let's talk about other significant things right over here. I know y'all featured some of this, the women's history deciding to vote, but there was something even more significant about Van Buren County, and that was one of the sheriffs, right?
That's correct. I'm glad I can say this on record now, that the first female official sheriff in the state of Tennessee was from Van Buren County.
And the story behind that. How did that happen?
The story behind that was her husband was the sheriff, and he was running for re-election, and he was murdered on the streets of Spencer, down in what's called Black Bottom. All right. After his murder, the county court appointed his wife to finish out his term. And so her name was Miss Imogene Haston, and she fulfilled his term. And so, but being that it was done by adoption of the court, that made it official. So therefore, she was the first female sheriff, official female sheriff in the state of Tennessee. Well, we still want to collect more artifacts. We need to hopefully get the county involved and do some work on the exterior of the building, because there are some things that need to be repaired. But we want this to be the shining star of Spencer, so to speak. And that's why I said earlier that this is the most beautiful building that the county owns. It's on what's called the town square, and it's on the same site the original courthouse was built in the late 1840s. Now, to correct that, I said the original courthouse. This was the site, the first building was built that was intended for a courthouse. When the county was first established, they held court in what's called Cedar Grove Community in the home of William Worthington. And then later they moved to Spencer, and they set up in an old log house. It's on the same lot. It was town lot number 16. That's where the United States Post Office is now. And they held court there until the first courthouse was finished. And it was finished in the late 1840s.
We hope you're enjoying the program, and we want to hear from you, maybe for some show ideas or for more information about what we do and how we can tell your next story. Give us a call today at 931-409-7151, or simply just email us at communitytvtn, all one word, at gmail.com, or check out our website at www.communitytvtn.com. We would love to hear from you. Send us your email, communitytvtn@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Linda Bradford, and I'm spinning yarn from wool that was sheared from our sheep. And this is what people used to have to do if they wanted something new to wear. They would grow sheep, and then in the spring they would shear their sheep, and then you would wash the wool, and what I've just done is carding, because it brushes it out and gets all the seeds and hay and everything out of it, and gets it straight to where it can be spun. And this is a spinning wheel. And as I pat my foot, the wheel's going around, and that's making the bobbin spin, and the bobbin is putting twist in this wool, and it's winding it on. And I'm just pulling out a little, whatever I want to, depending on the thickness that I want the yarn, I'll pull out that much wool at a time. And when I get the bobbin full, I can make a skein, and it's really fun to go out in the backyard and see what kind of plants and trees you can find to dye it with. And once you have it dyed, you can use it just like any other yarn. You make knit or crochet, and it's really nice to hook rugs with too. Yeah, and it's nice to have something that you end up with that you started with the raw product from the sheep. And it's really a fun hobby, and of course that's what people used to have to do. So I can imagine that once they got a garment out of this, that they took care of it for a long time.
Good morning. Welcome everyone here. We're so glad that you could come and be a part of this special moment here on the mountain. I'm standing on the steps of a replica of the old schoolhouse that was Rocky River Schoolhouse many, many years ago, back during the 1930s. Actually, this schoolhouse was located about where the rifle range is, if you all are familiar with this area. Something that interested me was the fact that not only Van Buren County people went to school here, but also people from Sequatchie County. And you know, that says a lot for education back during those times, and how important it was to people. Today we're here for the dedication of this schoolhouse. Some of you may know it as Cleabit, Curtis, or Jericho School. It's kind of like in the Bible with the coat of many colors. This is the school with many names. And so if you ever do historical research, you'll see it under the different names during those times. We've done some research, unfortunately, not been able to find a lot about this school per se, and so it's a work in progress. And as people can come and share their stories and share information, we'd be grateful for that, because all it does is add to the schoolhouse. It adds to this mountain, this area, this farm, and what everything's about up here. It's all about heritage. It's all about our history and who we are and where we came. A lot of love and a lot of work and a lot of dreams have gone in to what you see here today, and especially this schoolhouse. And to me, this really means a lot, because in talking with Jimmy over the years, Jimmy Yates this has been a dream of his. It's actually where his grandmother went to school many years ago. And so it's a place that's very important and dear to his heart, as it is to you all. In just a few minutes, we're going to take you inside and let you see the schoolhouse and have some of the former students here to tell you a little bit about it. We've got some of the students here, and as you can see, over the years there's been a lot. We were able to get these together. Maybe next year we can increase this group just by word of mouth, getting it out and letting people know. Let's welcome all of our students here, and let's ring the bell one more time so that we can now make this official that our students are here. Well, it's another day at Hard Times USA. The crowd's been fantastic. We've had record numbers, participation, everything has been fantastic. We've had a great day. It's time to wrap everything up, and before we go, there's two wonderful people that we want to say a big thanks to. As I've walked around today, people have been amazed at what has been shared with them today, and they want to know, well, who's responsible for this? And the two people that we can say more than anyone else is Jimmy Yates and Kenneth Keaton. Jimmy and Kenneth, from me, from everyone here, today, we want to say a big thank you for everything that you've done, opening up your heart, your home, and allowing us this opportunity. And you know what? We're going to do this again next year, so we're going to see you the first Saturday in October. Put it on your calendar and be here at Hard Times USA. Thanks and take care.